Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be forging a bowie knife out of this piece of steel. Pause the video so I can show you guys the inspiration pic the customer sent over. We're going to be using a piece of 1084 high carbon steel. This is a little bit thinner than what I would typically use for something this size, but we're going to make it work. I'm going to start by getting this forge nice and hot. This is a 2-burner propane forge. I'm going to throw our steel in there, get that up to temp, and then we're going to start by forging our tip. So what we're going to do is hit the 2 corners back and forth, and what that's going to do is cause the center to push out, creating a tip. You want to hit those corners at about a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to be utilizing the horn of the anvil here to create that profile and that swoop. And we can go in and we can refine that later on with the grinder, but right now I just really want to utilize the horn to get the shape down. So as you can see, I'm obviously editing this video. I don't want to bore you guys to death with 2.5 hours of me just forging, so we're going to make this nice and quick and painless. So as you can see, the steel is starting to mushroom. So basically what that means is that it's just going to be thicker in some places than it is in others. So what we want to do is we want to lay this on the anvil and flatten it back out. Now while this is heating up, I'm going to start by grabbing my hammer. I'm going to flip it over and use the back part of my hammer to start my taper. So I'm going to just go in and I'm going to start tapering this. I'm going to stretch it out. As you can see, there's a little bit of a fish mouth going on, which is not good. So I'm going to take this to the grinder in a second. I'm going to grind that off. You can also throw it in your vise and you can hammer it, but you definitely want to make sure you take care of that before you move forward because it can cause stress fractures later on, delams and stuff like that. So now that we got that taken care of, we're going to heat this back up, continue working on flattening and working on our taper. And we're just going to make sure that it is the same thickness throughout. So that's starting to look good. I like how the profile of the blade is starting to look. So now I'm going to start working on my tang. So to do that, I'm going to put this on the edge of the anvil and I'm going to create 2 notches. And that's just going to make it really easy for me to start working the metal back and forth so that I can create a tang. If you don't feel like spending an hour forging a tang out, you can always use an angle grinder and you can just cut your tang in. But I am going to forge this whole thing out. So all we're doing is just going back and forth. We're stretching the steel and we want to elongate this as much as possible. So we're going to heat it back up. We're going to stretch it out some more. And we're just going to basically go back and forth and do that as much as we need to. So it's about 4 inches right now, which is way too small. I feel like there's so many jokes that can be made while you're doing knife making, but that's definitely something that we can tackle in another video. Anyways, we're going to keep going back and forth. I'd like to stretch this out another couple inches, maybe 2 or 3 more inches. The blade is about 8 inches overall, so I'd like this to be a little bit bigger. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape. We're at about 6 inches now, which is perfect. So now that that's looking good, the tang looks good, the blade looks good, I'm going to throw it back in, heat it up, and then I'm going to start working on my bevels. So you're going to want to start in the middle of your steel and you're going to want to work your way down. You want to make sure that you avoid the top towards the spine because you don't want to compromise the thickness of the blade at all. So we're just working our way down. We're starting in the middle of the blade, working our way down, and we're just doing that so that there's less material to grind when I take this to the grinder and start doing my bevels. So now we're going to flatten it out and I'm just going to get all of those imperfections and gouges out from forging and tapering. We're just going to smooth this out. Then I'm going to throw it back in, get it nice and hot and up to temp again. And then I'm going to take my ball peen hammer and I'm just going to make sure that everything's nice and straight. I want to make sure everything's good. It's looking good. And then I'm going to throw it in again, lots of heating. And I'm going to start my thermal cycling process. If you don't know what thermal cycling is, I would suggest pausing the video, going over and watching a video about it. I'll explain it in another video at some point, but there's a whole science behind forging. So it's a very important step in the process. And I think a lot of people that are starting out don't know about thermocycling unless you do a lot of research. So you're going to do 3 different cycles. That was my first. This is my second. I forgot to record my third, but you guys are just going to have to take my word for it. So after the thermal cycling is done, I'm going to throw my logo on there. So this is a hot stamp. I got this from Buckeye Engraving. So we got the logo on there. One shot. That never happens. Usually I have to have somebody help me. But that looks good. Got the KCK logo on there. And now that that is done, we are going to quench the blade. So we want to get this nice and hot. Don't come for me about the color. I promise you guys, the color on the video looks way different than it does in person. I promise you it's not too hot. So anyways, we're going to quench this and we're just hardening the blade. Those are 2 ammo cans I got at the Army Barracks store. I got them for about $60, $70. I have 2 different sizes. I think they're a great addition to the shop and they make great quench tanks if you guys are interested in getting one. And I'm just using regular vegetable oil. So anyways, it looks good. It's nice and hard. I'm gonna run a file along this just to make sure, but you can tell by the look on my face that I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So now I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna put it in the vise, I'm gonna let it cool off, and then I'm gonna throw it in the oven and I'm gonna temper it. Then after it's done tempering, I'm gonna take it to the grinder and I can start profiling it and just cleaning it up. But yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This was about 2.5 hours of forging condensed into a 6-minute video. So anyways, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments and let me know what you guys think. All right, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.